Basically, when it drops, he stops. The locomotive pulling our train today is the Southern Railway 630. It was built in 1904 by the American Locomotive Company at their Richmond Works. At 117 years old, it is the oldest operating piece of equipment we have in our collection. It was built for the Southern Railway as a mainline freight locomotive. It was used by the Southern Railway until about 1948 when it was retired. Until, well, a few decades, and it was sold to the East Tennessee and West North Carolina Railroad. It was used there for a number of years before the Southern Railway would eventually reacquire the locomotive in the 60s for use on the Southern Railway Steam Excursion Program. After it ran on that excursion program for many decades, it was eventually replaced by larger steam locomotives pulling longer passenger trains. So it was retired and then donated to the museum here. It was restored to operation in 2011, and we've been using it here ever since. So this locomotive is a 280 consolidation, meaning it has two small pilot wheels in the front, 8 large drive wheels in the middle, and a set nose trailing wheel in the firebox. It operates at 190 psi. It has 56-inch diameter driving wheels, and it produces 46,700 pounds of track lever, about the equivalent of 2,000 horsepower or so. If you look up in the tableau, you'll see our engineer Frank. He is responsible for operating the locomotive and getting us here and back safely today. So we'll go ahead and give him a wave. The way this locomotive operates, up in the cab, our fireman Brian is feeding 3 to 6 tons of coal a day into the firebox where it is burning. On the front side of the firebox, there are a series of tubes that run the length of the boiler. Those are called the flues. The hot gases from the fire travel through the flues and then up and out the stack. Surrounding the flues in the firebox is water. That water is heated by those hot gases and converts to steam. Steam, of course, does expand, raising the boiler pressure up to 190 psi. When Frank opens that throttle, that steam is channeled out into these large cylinders here on the other side of the engine. Inside those cylinders is a large piston the steam pushes on either side of. Those pistons are connected to the rods you see on the side of the engine, and those rods are connected to the driving wheels. So as the piston is being moved in and out, it is rotating those rods, therefore turning the driving wheels and propelling the locomotive. After that steam has been used, it mixes with the hot gases in the smoke box here at the front of the locomotive, and then shoots up and out the stack. And that exhausting steam is actually what creates the chugging sound you hear when you see a steam locomotive. And that is due to the vacuum experienced within that smoke box as that steam exhausts, and it then pulls more fire up to the bottom of the fire bed, creating a draft, therefore making the fire actually burn hotter. If you look up on the other side of the cab, you're going to see our fireman Brian. He's responsible for feeding that coal into the firebox to produce all the steam this engine works on. Without him, this locomotive would not be going anywhere. I'll give him a wave as well. Now, a lot of you have probably seen this locomotive before in the past, but not just this locomotive, but our property as well, because we are very often involved in music video and film production. For example, in the past we've worked with both Johnny Cash and Josh Turner on music videos filmed on property here, and film pieces such as October Sky, which had Jennifer Paul from Laura Dern, Leatherheads with George Clooney, Water for Elephants with Robert Pattinson and Reese Witherspoon, and most recently 42 with Chadwick Boseman and Harrison Ford. And of course, just about, very frequently we do get documentaries filmed here, and of course children's shows filming episodes as well. As you probably noticed, our train still sits on track 1, but we fly the locomotive off of track 2. That is so we can do a runaround.